Time for our special feature. Abuja Indigenes are clamoring to be reintegrated as part of the Federal Capital Territory. Now, 34 years after Abuja was earmarked as Nigeria's capital, the Indigenes who are yet to be resettled have claimed that they are claiming their ancestral land and are calling for a stop to the resettlement program. And of course, this request is coming on the heels of claims that government has not lived up to its promises. Now, many of them who spoke to AIT say they'll prefer to be integrated into the development of the Federal Capital Territory. Our correspondent Omotola-Aderinsola has more.
Innocent children. They play in the comfort and security of their home in Kuruduma village near Asokoro, oblivious of the fact that this is a luxury they will lose soon when the Federal Capital Development Authority demolishes the village and resettles its indigenes. Their father knows and probably ruminates over this as he watches them play. Indigenes of the neighboring Asokoro village were moved years ago to a resettlement camp in New Wuse, Niger State. Today, Asokoro is an abode for Nigeria's high and mighty, and a house in the area costs at least 100 million naira, or $700,000. Indigenes of Garki village are currently in court to restrain government from moving them to Apo resettlement camp. Abuja Indigenes are resisting resettlement on grounds that the resettlement camps are not in compensation for their ancestral land.
The correct thing is, if I'm compensating you, I must give you what you have lost. But here, we are giving the indigenes more than what they are losing.
Can you just imagine that someone who is having two wives with children will give him one bedroom?
We cannot be treated like second-class citizens. And if Nigeria have fought for apartheid in South Africa, I said, why do we have this thing here?
We, as enlightened people within the indigene, we try to explain to the government the aftermath consequence. Nobody will expect what is happening in Niger Delta to happen in the Federal Capital Territory.
You see, the government is duping the indigenes of Abuja at the same time duping the federal government.
For many Abuja indigenes, the psychological trauma caused by the loss of their ancestral land remains indelible.
Where you are born and brought up, your ancestors live there. Eventually, when I'm making a U-turn to the area, their ancestors are asking and they are crying.
There is family disorganization and disorientation. I stayed in Gogolada. You asked me to leave this place because government has taken it over. So maybe there are a few of my family that will be here. Some will move to Abaji. Some would have moved to Wuse. Some would have moved to Niger. So this coherence is no more there. And the moment we are no longer together, it has a profound impact also on the children who are supposed to be socialized.
When Abuja was conceived and created out of Niger, Plateau and Kwara states in 1976, the governors and traditional rulers reached an agreement with the federal government to evacuate all the indigenes to neighboring states. They were of Bagi, Gwandara, Gede, Bassa, Koro, Igbira, Hausa and Fulani ethnic groups and were predominantly subsistent farmers. But that plan became too expensive for government.
Failure by government to evacuate the people of FCT or the indigenes of the FCT was a setback.
You cannot say you are an indigene of the city. That one has been abolished. You understand me? The Federal Capital City is a city for all Nigerians.
National interest here, it is bourgeois interest. It is a rich man's interest. Okay? So I feel that the reality of the situation is the sons and daughters of FCT who are learned should have raised this far earlier. Because most of them were compensated with positions in government and they felt that because they are part of government, they can't talk.
A poll conducted in 1982 among the indigenes to determine how many of them would like to remain in Abuja or be evacuated saw about 80% of the people agreeing to stay. Since then, many indigenous villages have been resettled to give way for the development of the Federal Capital Territory. But 18 years after the nation's capital became operational, the indigenes want government to stop the resettlement program. They want the integration of the remaining villages to meet the development standards here.
You can't just remove people from their ancestral land and take them where they are not even sure of tomorrow.
Even in Washington, we are talking about the world power country. They didn't resettle any village out from the Washington. Washington was a village. They were integrated.
I am of the opinion that the city proper, which has been fully developed now, the villages, the small villages around this place, should be properly resettled. Now, the outskirts towns and villages can now be integrated in the Abuja master plan.
Government policy on inclusion for now is not existing. The policy that is existing now is that communities, indigenous communities within the city must be resettled outside the city.
As it is, the chances that the yearnings of the people for integration will be heard are almost non-existent. Fears of fathers like this may never be allayed, and their children will have to leave the security of the abode they now know for resettlement camps.